that perfect prissy girl voice.
Ta-ta.
No.
Tartar.
Tartar. Oh, fuck. See, that's why you said, do you make the microphones close? And I just like clunked my shit.
Yeah. Be careful with that.
Yeah, man. You already know.
I know.
Hey guys, Thomas speaking. Welcome to the worst podcast alive. We're here in an undisclosed location somewhere in the mountains of California.
Yes.
Would you consider this a mountain? Or is it more of a hill?
I would consider it a high hill that leads into a canyon.
A high hill. Emphasis on the high. And I have a special guest with me. Super sick chick. A unicorn, if you will.
Oh.
Unicorn.
You announced me as a unicorn.
And freakishly down to earth. I mean,
wow.
Freakishly.
Wow.
So
I feel like that's a lot to live up to now.
It's like a bad word posted with like a good word, which makes it a compliment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A sick backhanded compliment. I don't even know.
It's Latoya. Latoya. What down?
Yes. Hi.
Hell yeah.
It's so nice to meet you again for the third time in my life.
Right. And so yeah, that's how we met, just very randomly.
We did.
At a place I used to work.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Tuesday. You know, it was just like any other day.
It was any other day.
And you were getting stuff monogrammed for a journal. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, you're
Which was so cool because I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
And I'm a girl, so I love my options.
You know what? People always go crazy over the monograms. That's the thing. It's because you get to personalize it.
Yeah, personalize it. This is my journal with my name on it.
Exactly.
Step aside.
But yeah, we met like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Never spoke again.
Yeah, never spoke again.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be considered never spoke again. And then just recently was like, let's do some podcast action.
Yeah, let's do some.
How you been?
Some podcasting. Wow. Well, I have to say, I'm happy to be here today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm just riding the wave right now.
Good.
You know? Good. That's exactly what I should be doing, right?
Yeah, you should be riding the wave.
But it's uncomfortable riding waves.
That's very true.
Until you sit into the wave, and then it becomes comfortable. And
kind of like feel it out.
You become like Kate Bosworth at the end of Blue Crush.
Kate Bosworth. Why can't I even... Wait, did you say Blue Crush? Is that where she lost her limb?
Where she what?
Where she lost her limb to a shark?
No. There was no actual shark attack action in that film. It was all about these girls in the 2000s who were, surfers.
Was Jessica Alba in it?
No.
Okay, I'm way off. I'm not getting...
Wow.
I know Blue awkward. Crush. It's like edgy. It's edgy. It's early 2000s.
It was edgy because it was girls surfing.
Like,
can you imagine?
Whoa. This is controversial, guys.
This is outrageous.
They're women and they're doing extreme sports.
Who would have thought of such a thing? Amongst childbirth, labor, everything else. Oh my
God. And what makes me a horrible host is I didn't even say what you did in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Give the people a little bit of a...
You ready?
Yeah, what do I do?
She's an artist, customizer.
Yes, film director. Writer.
Voice actress.
Yeah, I speak
unicorn.
Funny sometimes.
I just kind of lumped it all together.
I don't want to talk
unicorn.
about the horn that's growing from the middle of my forehead.
It's filed.
It's filed
it's
off.
Gone.
You're right. Yeah.
No one sees it. Only I can see it from like this angle.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
yeah, so you've been doing that for like a year.
I have, like a year and a half. It's been a ride. I feel like a lot of my shit had to get shaken up for me to start really expressing myself, because I felt like, I know when you're in your 20s, you don't really know what your voice is. You're trying to find your voice.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, it's silenced a little bit, have manners. Your parents know more than you do, so you should listen to them all the time. No bitterness, of course.
I know what you're saying, though. Like, So it kind of came later, but have you ever felt like you've always been a creative person, even though you didn't make that jump, but finally when you got there, you were like, it was always there.
Yeah, it was always there. I just didn't really know what to do with it.
Oh my God.
I felt like because I didn't know what to do with it, I didn't really have anything to say.
Interesting.
And I feel like, is that interesting? Did I say that properly?
I'm saying it's interesting because I feel the same way. Riffing. I've always felt like a creative person, but I was like, is air coming out of me right now making that sound what your dog just made?
Yeah.
I thought my shit was deflating. Yeah. I was like, whoa. No, but like it coming later, but you always felt that way. And I think my biggest problem in that realm is like, I was like so concerned with what it was and how it was perceived.
Yes, it's always about how it's perceived.
Of that, and then procrastinating the point of not actually like going fully into things. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's like what you say is good. Perfect. It's not a. It's not a thing.
Good thing though. Like there is such an obsession with perfection, which. I'm getting passionate now. So
it doesn't matter.
I have something to say about perfection. It doesn't exist.
And can I burn this for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, get in there.
Okay.
Okay, while you do that, I'll talk about how I feel about perfection.
I'm here. I'm with you.
Because I feel, my feelings are that we live in a society that is obsessed with perfection, which is what we see in celebrity culture, like what makeup you can afford, what body type you have, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like that actually stunted my creativity for a really long time because I felt like I had to be perfect.
Yeah.
Not understanding what that is. And I think I measure my level of perfection by... I don't know. There is no way to measure it.
I think social media makes it crazier because that you start saying like, oh, this needs to be great. And for your own sake, you end up not, I guess, putting out more and doing more and having that confidence to do it.
Yeah, because you're holding it up against some kind of imaginary guideline that doesn't exist. And that's why I was telling you I'm cool with creating stuff that looks like shit because... it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just the fact that I showed up and I did it and I got my hands dirty or I exercised that part of my brain and I created something and maybe it's a mutant and that's okay.
Yeah, I like the fact of just getting messy and just making anything, you know? Did you go for a cheers or no? Mm-mm. Okay. I was just making sure I wasn't leaving you hanging.
I just did. I took it like it was a shot. Do you want to see?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, do you want to cheers?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll take it like it's a shot.
Ooh, okay. Celebratory.
Cheers.
Cheers. I thought you meant all of that.
No, not all of it. I need to preserve the coffee.
I can put it down if you want.
Thank you. I feel so taken care of on this podcast. Thank you, darling.
Isn't that great that I'm hosting you while you're hosting me?
Yeah. Oh my God. We're a happy family with a blah 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 blah.
See, I knew the last word.
Perfect. See, that was perfect. That's the guideline that I measure.
That's perfection. The guideline. That's how we
randomness.
The podcast. You know what it was for me? I was always talented in art when I was a younger kid, but I wasn't a good student. So that's not really, it's frowned upon if you don't get good grades in general.
Absolutely.
And I was just always not prioritizing it.
Yeah.
So even in art, I would make some really funky, cool things, and sometimes I wouldn't finish it. And they would penalize me. And then it wouldn't make like the show or the little gallery thing. But it wasn't always like that. But I just felt like certain teachers just...
didn't get you.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with my teachers. And that's why I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like you guys are saying stuff. And that's cool. But I feel like I have to be here right now. And I really don't want to be here. And I know that knowledge is a good thing. It's just I don't like when it's being crammed down my throat.
Yeah. That's so awesome to hear that from another person because
But you have to start taking, you have to prioritize it, because then they start snipping down your life. Like the school, the teachers get in touch with your parents, and then the parents.
Teacher conferences.
Like, well, you know, I had a French report card once, and it said, she doesn't really know what we're saying. She doesn't really know what she's saying, but she does a great French accent.
Oh, so it's French speaking?
No, I took a French class.
Oh, you took a French class.
From kindergarten
that was in Sydney,
to
right?
10.
Sydney, Australia?
Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm from.
Exactly.
From Bondi.
Up until 18?
Yeah, left when I was 18.
Did you ever visit the States when you were like younger than 18?
I did. I came here every 2 years to visit my grandparents and my dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then I ended up going to college here. But I also went to school here in the 2nd grade because my mom went to Vidal Sassoon. So I was doing I was learning here while she was learning here. And then after that year was up and she graduated, we went back to Australia. That was a terrible recollection of how it happened, but you get it.
No, that sounds straightforward. That's exactly it.
Maybe that's what was awkward about it, is that it was too straightforward. I didn't beat around the bush.
No, there's no awkward. There's no awkward. And sorry for touching your precisely painted kneecap.
My blue.
Just kidding, it's an accident. But it's like
it was an accident.
It's a dope accident.
But I'm a painter, so I paint myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
No, nobody should know.
Nobody should know. Ruby's like, this is ridiculous.
But you were like, was it one of those things where you're like, your entire life, you're like, I know I'm moving to America. I want to move to America. Was it like the spot when you were like growing up and you're just like,
I wanted to be an actress or a model or something. And at the time in the 90s, there weren't a lot of Black people in Australia that looked like me, I guess. So when I would go to modeling agencies, they'd be like, we'd sign you if you were Asian. It's just that, you know, there aren't a lot of people here that look like you. And usually we fly in models from America or Europe for Sydney Fashion Week. And I was like, oh, okay.
They really said Asian?
Yeah, because there's a huge Asian population in Australia.
What?
Yeah.
It's probably really ignorant of me to not know that.
No, it's not. They don't really talk about that on the news.
But I can't believe that. They don't really cover that.
It hasn't really been covered.
Yeah. I can't believe that, though.
Yeah, they were like, there's a bigger Asian population here than...
So they were like, if you were Asian, though.
They were like, if you're Asian, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess there's nothing I can do about that.
But was it like a vast majority, or was it like a handful of places, or was it just like one experience of them saying that? Because I feel like you would get a lot of work. You know?
I went to a few different agencies when I was 16. They said, no. That's the thing, is I thought if I actually want to go ahead with my career, I can't stay in this country because it doesn't receive people like me who look like me. So I have dual citizenship because my dad is American, and I got into USC.
Beautiful.
To the BFA acting program, studied that for 4 years, graduated, and then became an LA street rat. You're not an LA street rat, are you? I mean, a little bit. I love that. No, it's true. Maybe I'm too bougie. I'm too bougie to be an LA street rat, darling. Obviously, it was hyperbole I was using. It's like high-end street rat. Does that make sense? I feel like this. So acting, you started doing commercial. You're unionized. I'm unionized. You're bougie. I'm unionized. You got euthanized. Let's hope not. And then you woke up. And then I woke up and I was like, not even this will get rid of me. You're like, psych. Psych, I'm back. I am the second coming. I remember when we made that joke about me being Jesus, because I kept giving you water, and I was like, what if Jesus was like back, but he was just like, I make water now, not wine, and then it was all diluted. That was like in his heyday. In his heyday, he was making wine. They're like, do you remember? And walking on water. Now he just jumping off his shit and making wine, you know, just being like that guy. You know what I'm saying? So being that guy, and then now he's just like,
Did you take a brisk walk? Would you like something to drink?
Would you like some water? It's completely clean. It's got chlorophyll on it.
Chlorophyll?
I know. I love putting chlorophyll in my water because it's like drinking colors.
Oh, chlorophyll. I was thinking of chlorine.
Oh, yeah.
Like
that too.
And I was like,
I've got to make sure it's clean. How do you think?
I could see that being like an LA diet type thing. Like people actually put chlorine in their like water pitcher and they're like, it's just better for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. You haven't read that?
It's like it kills every microbe and living bacteria that's good for you in your system.
Literally.
You'll be pooping nothing in no time.
Yeah, because you won't be alive.
Yeah.
That will be your euthanization.
It all comes back.
It all comes back.
It all goes back.
I'm really happy we made that connection.
Oh my God. So you just like reached a point where like, did it dwindle or were you just like, I'm done. I'm not trying to do this anymore.
Well, that's when the reason that I took up painting was when my ex had died. Mm-hmm. We had a very tumultuous relationship. Yeah. And so we had shoes in common. I'm like making this very, very dramatic story, very compact.
No, but you don't have to do that. We're chilling, man. Come on.
But I feel like I saw those shoes and then that were hanging up in his room. And I was like, you know what? I need to paint shoes to process the fact that this has even happened because it really shook me to my core.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Well, that's... Absolutely. Like when you told me that, I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then it wasn't too long ago. It was in 2019, right?
Yeah, it was in 2019. And then I filmed this film that was based on a poem that I'd written called LOVECHILD. Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks after he passed, I had already been planning to film it, but I just rented a 3-ton truck. Had some really amazing, supportive women who were just like pushing me through that. And
it's awesome.
I shot it and I still have the footage. I need to edit it. But I think I spent 2020 just painting shoes and working on that. And it's interesting because with creativity and projects, it's like you have these ideas and then you watch yourself maneuver and navigate through that in time. Like, no, I was really doing the shoe thing last year. I needed that. That felt like it fed me, you know? Like I was actually doing something and creating something and figuring it out and really taking it from just shoe painting to trying to bring it into its evolution of being a brand. Yeah. And
the cool thing about what you're saying about doing the thing and then letting it sit is like you could just like tuck it away. It's like on your hard drive, you know, and then it'll like reach its moment and it'll get to its place. But like what you're saying with the shoes, that's what's going on right now, which is, you know, it's feeding you. Yeah. And I think the most interesting thing when you like are building it up is like you have an idea of what you want it to be, but sometimes you're going through movement first. Yeah. Like with the shoes, you have an intention because you said the shoes is what binded you and your ex at that moment. And this is kind of like a cathartic way to face it without like that denial. Yeah, you know? Exactly. You know, when you have that, well, you know, there's in writings and books and just people say it all the time. Like when you hold stuff in, it's really not good for you. So
exactly. It becomes like just this negative toxicity that you carry with you.
It eats you. Yeah. It's seriously like poison.
Like when I was a sophomore in college, my mom got stage 4 breast cancer. And her and my dad had a very tumultuous relationship. And I remember her being like, I think I hated your dad so much I gave myself breast cancer. And I was like, damn. Like, I feel like you really have to pay attention to where you put your energy. And like she survived. She's a hero. That's good. She did that. But also it just makes me consider what I choose to put my energy into. Yeah. Like, is this actually positive for me? Am I growing from this? Is this a good situation or is this just one of those situations that
I mean, no
I'm
matter-
just like feeding my demons, where they're like, yeehaw!
And sometimes you gotta feed them something good. You know?
Yeah.
And then
Eat
sometimes
your vegetables.
you gotta feed your demons. You gotta dance with them sometimes too.
Oh, and sometimes you gotta dance.
Sometimes you gotta dance
Do
with
a
your
nice
demons.
little tango.
But just make sure it's
A
a dance.
waltz.
Exactly. Don't stay there too long.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta dance with them
Dance with wolves.
for them to come out and play, and then let it be. But yeah, man, that's like
life gets messy though. I feel
it's messiness, and there's a lot of things that are unfortunate to happen, and
and it's how you react to that.
exactly. And these days, especially even with the COVID, because it sounds like you've had quite a few things even without COVID. So on top of that,
I feel like the interesting thing for me is that I went through this whole moment in 2019, and there was so many crazy things that happened. But how often is it that all these crazy things happen and then the world stops and you're allowed to sit down and just process? Because usually I feel like, the
world's moving.
Yeah, like someone I know, their dad died and then they were in work 3 weeks later, as if you're able to really focus after something that devastating has happened.
Yeah, it's like back to your scheduled program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2020 was kind of a blessing in disguise. I think it hit really hard, and it was really hard to sit with myself at times. But I also feel like there's something to be gained from that. Because then if I can't be honest with myself, how the fuck am I going to sit with people and be like, real?
And it does.
I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows how to properly receive that. There's no right way to. So I'm sure you were like at a ground zero for sure at some point, to say the least. How long and then you went right into doing the film, close to doing the film, like soon after, right? When your ex passed away?
Yeah, like 2 weeks after.
Yeah. So,
or a week after, or something crazy.
So within a couple weeks, you finished that. And then the shoes part, was that soon after? Or was that during?
That was soon after. That was around after I shot the film in December. And then, I just kept playing with it. And friends of mine were like, oh, your shoes are really cool. Because I was painting on my shoes just to do it. And then people were like, oh, that's really cool. Do mine. So it became its own thing. And that was really interesting to see, because it's like, oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Life.
You have endless ways to express it and distribute it,
Yeah.
So it's like mostly like it's all paint, just like the phone. You did the phone? You had to have done the phone.
Yeah, I did the phone.
Man, I wish I could. You should bring out your shoes. You should bring out like a couple of them, or we could just do it later.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna do a shot of it, but like I want to see the shoes. Because like those black ones look dope as fuck.
Oh, my space boots.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I looked on Instagram later and it said the space thing, and when I saw it, I was like, it's a space shoe.
I know, it's so great. I really enjoyed it.
You did that well.
I was nervous because a friend of mine was like, hey, would you consider doing black and white? And my best friend, Alicia Gray, hates colors. She's like, I want to support you, but can you do it in black and white, maybe some grays? So I was like, okay, let me speak to this demographic.
Yeah.
So I just started playing with it. And originally my style is very bright and colorful. And the more I branch out and I start talking to people, the more I'm like getting requests for more muted tones or more this or black and white and gray. And I'm like, okay, how does my style translate into this? So I try and take those opportunities and just play. And that's my whole thing about not getting it perfect is I don't know. Like when I paint, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And you have artists who are like that. I'm just not. And so for me, that's the play part is I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's that's the best
you
part.
Feel
though,
me?
And I think people forget that.
Right?
People forget that it's the playing part.
Yeah.
Like I told you
yesterday. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be serious. We're adults.
It's making it into a discipline, and that's what becoming an adult is. And that's why I keep mentioning the movie Hook, because, you know, when you're paying the man and you're doing things as a kid, you're actually doing more action and less thinking. Because when you go outside to play with kids, you're not like, all right, boys and girls are gathered around. What are we going to do today? You just kind of do whatever.
You just do whatever you're doing.
And as an adult, of course, you need your like responsibilities, right?
Of course. But if you have that covered, why can't you play?
Exactly. So as long as you have it covered, I think people also forget that if you have it covered, then play all you want.
Yeah.
Because why not? Like, and I never want to lose that, like,
absolutely.
Ever.
Neither do I.
I feel like it's like that's the closest thing to being a youth.
That because sometimes I paint stuff and I'm like, I feel like this is just my subconscious going on a little tangent. Or if I don't feel like painting, then there's writing.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel like writing, there's photography.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel like taking photos, I can edit the photos.
So you just have different methods and modes of going about things. Yeah.
Yeah. And through that, that's how I've been branding my brand, because it just starts to naturally, like, how when I paint something, I'll paint it and I'll make it look cool. But then I love taking photos of it and then fucking with it on Lightroom and Photoshop and seeing what rendition of that I can get out of that one piece of art.
And it's like an endless remix.
Yeah, it's the endless remix.
But that's the beauty of making anything. That there's no rule to it, and you're just making stuff that wasn't. And I just geek out about that all the time. I think
magic.
It's so fun.
We were talking about that.
It's magic. It's magic because it is the closest thing on earth to being magic. Because it never existed, and then you just make it. With the modeling, I feel like you'd be killing it. I mean, today.
Oh, yeah. No, in 2020, there were no commercial auditions. And I wasn't getting sent out that much. And also, I got one call back, but I had to Zoom it. And I'm so used to my thing of walking into a room and being face to face.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have the skills for a Zoom audition. Like, I wanted it. Okay, when I went into the original audition, they had the phone. They had everything. And then I got my phone for the audition because I was like, are they going to expect me to do this? And they're like, no, you could just mime it. I was like, what? Mime? I didn't take that class.
That ended very eerily.
I know. And I just...
Damn.
I didn't get it, obviously, and I was okay with that because I was so obsessed with painting shoes and just healing emotionally that I was like, you know what? I'm going to let this acting thing go, and when it comes around, it comes around, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I know I'm busy because I have my brand that I'm working on called LOVCHILD. Have we even said that it's LOVCHILD?
I don't think you said it out loud until... just now.
Oh, wow.
It's LOVCHILD.
Yeah, the name of my brand is LOVCHILD.
Get a box. And just say...
I didn't break eye contact.
Don't blink.
Bring over the shoes. Okay, so guys? I paint my boxes.
I love your stencil.
Thank you.
It's tight. And it's spelled without an E and an I.
Yeah, because who has time for vowels?
Yeah.
Right? Even the one vowel that's in there is crossed out.
What we got in here? Is it the...
Oh, that's not even a box with painted shoes in it. Okay, I'll get the real ones.
Those look like creamsicles.
They do. They look like creamsicles.
They look delicious. I might take a bite out of it, see if there's like a milky center.
Yum, this shoe is incredible. I know, this is actually Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. You can eat the shoes.
Eat the shoes when you're done with them, after just walking through Los Angeles the entire day.
Okay, let me get some shoes.
You know what?
Let's get some shoes.
Oh, that's a great one. Let's get some shoes. Let me borrow that top.
I was just playing around.
So this is like your signature.
Oh, sorry, Ruby.
This is what
the noise.
This is what you do.
Yeah, like colorful
I love
stuff
that.
like that.
Bow. These are clean. These are clean with the white laces.
And you know what I do?
It has that pop on it.
Is I put 24 karat gold leaf on all of the ones. That's kind of like my little signature. Like my little gold footsteps just pounced on this shoe.
And it adds a little heftiness to it. You know?
Heftiness?
Yeah, like when you like
oh yeah, because I put in the laces.
There's like a durability, you know?
Yeah.
It's like sturdy.
Like I like when my shit is fucked up. Like I love when I spray paint the sides and it looks messy and just gross, like it's been lived in for hundreds of years and the paint is just you get what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, you need to record, you need to film this on foots.
I know, I do.
That's okay. Are you
so
familiar with TikTok?
I am, but I haven't really walked down TikTok lane. You know?
TikTok
Tickety
lane.
tockety boop.
That's where I want to be. TikTok lane.
Take me down to TikTok lane.
Maybe you should, though, is what I'm saying.
No, you're right. I should.
How do you put these bad babies back in? I thought it was like this. Bam, and then bam. Right?
Yeah. So I used to go to this bougie private school growing up. And I had this navy blue uniform, and I always had these fresh brown Doc Martens to go with my uniform. And I had to walk to and from school every single day because we didn't have a car. And the first thing I would do when I got my Doc Martens would be to just start kicking them against the wall.
Yeah, wear them in.
And wear them in. Like, just make sure that they were scuffed the fuck up.
That's what...
Because then it felt like my shoe. Mm-hmm. And obviously, my school was like, Latoya shoes are always a little bit scuffy.
Well, they always look better with wear.
Because I was wearing them.
Yeah. It looks... But it always looks better with wear. Vans, Converse, Doc Martens, all do those things, you know, where you could just beat it the hell up and it looks even better than before.
Absolutely. And
were they like tan or were they like khaki colored or were they like brown?
They were brown. An awkward brown.
Okay.
Color. Just like.
Highs or lows?
Lows.
Lows?
Yeah, with high navy blue socks.
Wow.
I always felt awkward in them already. But when I fucked them up, I felt like they were my shoe. And that's kind of what I brought to this. It's like.
Yeah.
I get nervous about painting over a new shoe. And then I'm like, what is it? It's just a shoe.
Absolutely.
It's just a shoe.
I get in weird things where I'll look at like a journal page and I don't want to ruin the page that's blank.
Wow.
That's
weird? Insane.
That's weird, huh?
Yeah. You don't want to contaminate the page with your words.
Yeah, I have like a shit ton. Yeah. And it's like, that's the point. You got to use it.
That's the point.
You got to use it.
Seriously.
What was it like going to school there?
I don't know. I felt very outside of it. Like, I loved my art classes because I remember, I forgot which artist it was, but she had her period and then she put a scroll that she had written on inside of her vagina, and then she did a performance piece where all of her period blood was coming out and she was reading this, like pulling the scroll out of her vagina. And I remember watching that and being like, this is fucking awesome. Because it's so much bigger than this world that I'm living in, where I go to this prissy private school and I don't fit in with all these people because everyone's really pretending to be someone they're not, so that we just all accept each other because there's some unspoken hierarchy. But in the real world, like out there, you can do crazy shit and you can really express yourself in loud ways. And that's what I loved about art, is like, if you feel something, you can exercise that voice in such an outrageous way that normal people will call you crazy, but you're really just the one who's expressing. So who's crazy? The person who's pushing it down, or the person who's like, I'm going to pull a scroll out of my bleeding vagina and read it and scream and cry through it. It was really epic. I couldn't believe they were actually showing it to us.
Wow. And how old was she?
The woman?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, you were seeing a video of it.
Yeah.
I thought you were telling me like a girl from your school.
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
Like, damn. And where is she now?
Yeah, what was the trajectory of her life?
Yeah, like what's to come of that?
Yeah, she's okay.
Well, and then the thing that happens is that like people voluntarily just opt out of the expression part. So they just go
because they're worried about not looking perfect
yeah.
and about looking like the weirdo.
Exactly.
And my point is, what if the weirdos are the normal ones and the normal ones are the weirdos?
They're
not actually
the weirdo ones. Oh
living
my God.
in their feelings. They're ignoring them. I don't know.
I can't even repeat what you just said. I just tangled my brain.
La 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 la. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York.
Wait. Unique New York.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Like that.
Okay. I felt like MC Light for a second. Like the way she talks. Like MC Light. Unique New York.
Unique New York.
Are you like one of those people that can just that can do social media? Because I find it very difficult to try to make stuff and then to do like the distribution part. Do you encounter any issues with that, or is that just kind of second nature and you're just like, not really, I just put it out?
No, it took me a really long time to just accept that I needed to start using my social media to put myself out there. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason I didn't start using it sooner is because I am private and I wasn't really into the vulnerability thing. And then I read Brene Brown, Daring Greatly, and it made me feel victorious about being vulnerable. Because real people are vulnerable. And I want them fighting in the arena with me. Am I right, Brene?
Breaks a glass.
Oppa!
But you really did read that book?
I did. I'm halfway through. I should actually get to.
It's a good book.
Yeah, no, it's a great book, and I feel like. Wait, where were we going with this? Why did I even bring this up?
I don't know. We were talking about. It's like I don't know. What are we doing here?
Oh no, this is like every conversation with me. Blah 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 blah. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it was the commercial break.
My voice just goes higher and higher.
No, I love self-help books. I wish it was called something else though.
Something not as pathetic as self-help.
Why don't they call it like self-growth? Why don't they like the self-growth section? Because that's what it truly is.
Do you need to help yourself with this book? Like, it makes me feel a little dirty.
Yeah, like no, I love reading those books.
No, I love it too. It makes me feel good. Sorry.
Well, you get a lot of insight from. It's funny because when you read it, you're like, oh, this is very simple stuff, but it's told in a way where it registers with
really
you. Where
registers
you're like,
with you.
Oh, top of here now. Because, sometimes you're just unaware of things that you do every day.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about how, like, social media.
We're talking mad shit on social media.
I don't think it's mad shit. I just don't understand how to use it.
I get that.
And then also the act of being able to share things without it being like a currency. I don't feel like that freedom.
Like me more because I'm being vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, can't you just like me without knowing about all of the other shit?
Yeah, like can't you just be like I met you as a human being, and regardless of what the hell you portray yourself online,
I'm here for it.
Exactly.
I'm here for it.
That type of shit.
Yeah, I get that.
It's wild though because it's a social currency. It's like that Black Mirror episode at the wedding with
oh my
Bryce
God.
Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard. That one was eerily on point.
That but it's crazy because like China already has like almost like a credit, like a what do they call it? Like a citizen son of a bitch. A citizen credit where you're literally rated as a human being. Like So if you
rated as a human,
like you have like a credit, you have like a number, and I'm bashing what it's actually called, but like you have it's almost like having credit, except it's your social credit. So it's like you get a bunch of DUIs, you'll go like 7 to 6. I don't know what the scale is,
only
but then
to 6 after that many DUIs.
It's like after you do shit like that, they'll lower your number of your existence, and people can see it. Now I got to do that research. I need to go back and do the research now that I said that out loud, because I'm pretty sure that's what at least the region of it has.
No, absolutely. I think that, but you're on.
But that's social
it's
media.
just like what social media kind of is. You know, the cockroach is my favorite character in a film of all time. More sugar water.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's just like
okay, so I'm walking into Cafe
Gratitude,
and I'm talking to these girls in my acting class, and they're like, "Yeah, I like this scene in a movie. I love this." It's like Mean Girls, and like, you know. And then I'm like, "I love the cockroach guy from Men in Black." And then as I'm walking in, I'm like, "More sugar," and like doing the whole thing. And this guy, this really hot guy, is sitting at a table, and he's like, "The alien from Men in Black, right?" And yeah, I was like, "Yeah," and all the other girls are like,
and they're like Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Oh my god!
But it was great because I got that moment to bond with a very gorgeous male specimen.
You got to look at a beautiful man, and he got the reference,
and he understood the reference.
He understood that shit, man.
Yeah, because if you don't understand the references, then what are you doing with your life? Oh yeah, have some gummy bears. I think I have Skittles there too. Yeah,
there's some Skittles involved.
Yeah,
and I forgot how to open a bag.
Hi, cutie. Why are you still shivering?
So with the customs now, what do you want to do? Like, are you just kind of feeling it out now? Because like
I'm feeling it out. I feel like I've been taking pictures of all of the shoes that I paint so that I can put them up on my website, start selling them, get some traction. But I've been hit up for custom pairs. These are just the pre-painted ones, and with every shoe that I paint on, I'm kind of coming up with a different idea. So I bought a bunch of shoes on Black Friday.
Oh, awesome.
And then I just have been painting each one of them.
Different silhouettes or which ones?
Different shoes. Like I can't recreate my work because it's all hand painted and splattered and
so whatever feels
playful.
Right.
So it's whatever feels right.
That's cool. So you've done like Converse. I saw you do the Nike, and I don't know if it's
the
Huaraches or
it was the Air Jordans.
Bashed what it's called. What?
Air Jordans.
Oh, you did Air Jordans?
Mm-hmm.
But also the ones I'm mentioning are like the running shoes. I think they were white Huaraches. Yeah.
White Huaraches?
Yeah.
I don't know which ones those were.
They were sick. I need to pull them up because I want to actually pop it up on the video. Right. That would be sick as
Absolutely.
hell.
No, it's really cool.
Yeah. I need to get me one of those.
I just make it up as I go along. I don't know what's going to happen next. So I just feel like I have to keep it fresh. And then when I feel like I'm getting stale because, quarantine and life, and then I just have a beautiful bunch of friends and other artists that I can talk to and get inspired.
It's a beautiful
with fire, jump around, come up with ideas, and then come back and play again.
Yeah.
Because God knows I can't do a 9 to 5. Oof, no one wants to see me try that.
Damn. I like that though. Taking it as they come and like just doing what speaks to you right now.
Yeah, I feel like I have no choice. I've been posting on Instagram, and I think we were talking about that with Instagram. I kind of use it as an extension to keep myself accountable and on top of creating, because then I'm creating, what's the word? Content.
Yeah, content. And that's such a great word.
So people can see what I'm doing, but I'm actually doing it. It keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
It keeps me accountable. So.
I'm like looking at you like, oh, what? You're like,
don't worry. It's like the spaghetti.
It's like, you guys sing it.
It just crawls off your plate.
It's okay. Oh,
I know. I hope we got some of this.
yeah, we actually got a bunch. So it's good though.
So yeah, it keeps me accountable. That's why I've gravitated towards using it more, because I want my brand to flourish. I want it to become bigger. I want it to become known. And I understand that just harnessing as much as I possibly can on my own with the whole social media thing, that's the best I can do right now. Like,
How do you
here are
feel
my
about
hashtags. I use the right hashtags, so therefore more people see that I exist on social media, even though I exist in fucking real life.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you like me as a human? Why do we have to resort to doing this whole
hashtagging?
Yeah, it feels weird, doesn't it?
It does.
Like,
And
even, yeah.
it feels
I know
weird,
exactly what you're saying.
but also you have to say yes to yourself, because if you want to see something grow and there's a way to grow it, then not trying to understand it is shooting yourself in the foot.
And you're you, so you should, come
Like,
and
what's the
represent
way
yourself.
that I do it? Like, I hated school, right?
Yeah.
And I hated school because it was done a specific way that wasn't to my taste. Now I'm a grown woman and I'm living my life, and I can live my life the way I choose to live it. So why don't I make that enjoyable for myself?
Right. Yeah.
Why not? I think that's a theme that has gone
This year, for
transpired throughout this conversation, is just freedom.
Absolutely.
Being okay with the fact that you're a little fucked up because you're allowed to be fucked up.
Yeah.
And at least if you can acknowledge that, take accountability for it, try to be better.
Yeah.
And
Are you
then-
religious?
Am I religious? I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'm spiritual.
Spiritual. Okay.
Spiritual is the word.
Do you read? I remember.
I feel like I was raised Christian, but
Yeah.
it's not like here's my thing with religions. I respect religion.
Mhm.
I feel like people get lost in that's kind of bullshit, because my God's better than your God, and you're lost and everyone's lost because they don't believe in everyone's God. And it's kind of like, can't you just respect that everyone's gonna die, and whatever anyone needs to do to go through their life so that by the time they get to their last breath, they feel like they did the best that they fucking could.
Yeah.
Like, I respect religion in that regard, and I feel like everyone should be able to practice what they want. With that said,
There's human ego.
yeah.
There's a lot of
There's
human ego,
ego.
because if it was the essence of any of whatever you study or practice, right? There wouldn't be the judgment of like, but you're doing it wrong because we believe the right one.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like, well, who's the right one? Could it be that everyone's the right one and we're all talking about the same person, different details?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But is that person really a person? It could just be like...
Exactly. It could just be a little ghost. Like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
It could be a ghost. Or
the Holy Ghost, that's Casper.
It is the Holy Ghost. You're right. I did not think about that. Whoa. Breakthroughs.
I mean, he was really nice.
Breakthroughs.
Something holy about that, right?
He was a friendly ghost /
He was.
spirit.
I had such a crush on him.
Casper?
Yeah, in like the 90s.
Get out of here. Your crush was Casper?
One of them.
That's awesome. Anyone else you could think of? Like childhood crushes.
Oh my God. The brother in
Boy Meets
Mrs.
World. No, I'm just
Doubtfire.
The brother? It's funny because I perfectly picture him right
You
now.
know,
too.
with
I
the
know
little
he
bowl
looks like-
cut.
He's a shishi.
He's a she. She's a he.
Dude, that was a shit.
Such a good movie.
That's what you would call a true blockbuster movie. You know?
Absolutely.
That's a blockbuster movie.
That makes me cry every time. I'm like, Sally Field, couldn't you just let that dad love them?
The whole time. The whole time.
The whole time. But then again, it's that human ego. It's I know best.
Because if you
don't know shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make you pay for it. Because you don't look like you have it by the book. Because he was a voiceover actor.
Yep.
And he refused to do that scene with the animal that was smoking the cigarettes because he thought it was bad for kids to see that.
I forgot about
and that's
that
why he gets
scene.
fired. So by the time she's calling divorce, it's like,
He's
oh
down
great,
and
he's
out.
lost his job and he's lost
down
his
and out. She's like, yeah, your job's gone, and soon your kids are gonna be gone.
all because he was throwing my crush a birthday party.
Yeah. And guess what? James Bond is in my bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
So eat that, Robin Williams.
I love that he puts pepper in his meal
Yeah.
at the end of it.
It's really psychotic, everything he does in that movie.
He does
actually.
everything.
And it's also like a lot of 90s movies where someone would be doing some criminal activity. And you're like, oh, here's
out of the love of their hearts.
Like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, he stops a whole...
plane.
He stops a whole airliner.
Yeah.
That's some terrorist activity. That's
That
like
is.
borderline some homegrown terrorism.
But he was being driven mad by the fact that he wasn't allowed to lie for a whole 24 hours.
But he stopped
And he
the
was a
entire
lawyer,
plane so his wife wouldn't leave with that man and the kid.
Well, yeah, that's because he loved her and him so much.
Exactly. But couldn't he just like call them or like follow the plane after them? Like next? Like, he didn't have to like...
No, because she was going to go
forever?
on that ride.
It was the 90s.
I love that I'm actually supporting his craziness.
It was the 90s though.
It was the 90s
so
though.
You were...
That was okay.
Being madlessly in love was highly regarded back in the day.
That was
what it's
showing
called
vulnerability.
now? You know what it's called now?
What?
Creepiness. It's called creepiness.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, creepiness will
That's
do it
what
for you.
being romantic is now.
I know. And there is a thing about boundaries and saying, you know, I love you, but if the person has said no, consent to
I love you.
backing off.
No.
No.
Sorry about that. Man, I find dating to be just like it shattered what I used to know it by when I was
What
back
did you
in my
used to know it by?
like a committed relationship, and it's like long. I usually like just those common principles.
And it's long.
Like a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
What was your longest in Los Angeles?
A year.
See, I don't even think I've like dated people, but it's never been like exclusive. But then also when I first moved here, I sworn off like doing any of that.
Dated people, but it's never been exclusive.
You know what's so funny?
You just
I
didn't
hate
feel
saying
like
that.
You didn't feel like
No, it's like
a pull.
it's either a mutual decision or one person feels that way. You haven't experienced that? Like where someone's just like, yeah, we're having a good time, but you know, we're not.
Absolutely. I've been in those relationships where I'm like, this feels a lot more heavy and hot than it actually should feel because we've only been dating 3 months.
Right.
But that's the trajectory of dating in your 20s, I feel like. You're just kind of sussing it out, seeing what you want, what you don't want.
Sure.
Taking inventory.
Right.
Because I don't feel like I've even really started to figure out what I want until probably through quarantine.
Absolutely.
Because I dated a lot of people throughout, and I was like, why isn't this working? And then I saw a therapist and realized exactly why it wasn't working.
No. Why?
And just because I had really, really big issues with finding secure relationships. Just like the way that my parents' dynamic was, it was very tumultuous, and so I would say I followed in their footsteps for a while, except I'm trying to
break the pattern.
Break down some of those traumas that I have, so I don't walk through my entire life traumatized.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about earlier of just like you don't know what's going on sometimes of what you're doing because you're in it. But when you're so in it, sometimes going to therapy, which I really want to get into, just like having getting
therapist.
Sessions.
Yeah.
Getting sessions.
Yeah.
So you realize that, and you're just like, oh, okay, now it's top of mind. I'm aware of that now.
Yeah, and that's actually why I created LOVECHILD, because it was so... I'd seen the pattern of my tumultuous relationships. And then I was like, why am I doing this? And then I wrote a poem about my childhood. And then it kind of encompassed,
That's
me growing
awesome.
up in Australia, my mom being white, but from Yugoslavia. And then my dad being African American, but him not wanting to be around at all. And how all of that manifested through my relationships with men and how I was choosing them over myself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, being a love child is in essence being true to yourself and your own inner child. But that's where the film comes in, and then the shoes. And I'm not a product of perfection, you know, because my parents weren't married, and I was biracial in a country that didn't really, and in a time where that wasn't really a conversation. Kids would just assume I was adopted because my mom was white and I didn't have my dad there.
Yeah.
And
that's rough because most of them were white Australian kids.
It was mostly
and
that demographic.
Yeah, looking different, definitely.
But I figured out how to share myself amongst the people in my school where I wasn't hated or bullied. I was just kind of like seen as the just black swan.
Different. Yeah. They're like, literally. A black swan.
But also, there's nothing wrong with being a black swan, you know, or a black sheep, or...
Well, it's always the black sheep.
Anything black.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being black, everyone. That's actually what... If there's anything you need to learn from this episode...
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong. And that might be the title. We got a couple... There's nothing wrong with being black.
There's a few titles that we can come up with.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
But you were saying, like, you kind of put the relationships first. Because I was going to ask you, you know, that dynamic of your dad not wanting to be around, like, it didn't make you resentful. It made you almost more gravitating towards like a...
I think it made me resentful towards my dad for many years.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my relationships, it's like trying to find that love because I didn't have that. And also thinking it was acceptable to be in relationships that were very up and down.
Because you're used to...
Because I'm used to that.
Yeah.
And just by admitting that to myself and realizing it, undoing those patterns.
Yeah.
So that I give myself a chance.
Yeah.
Because I deserve that chance. And everyone deserves that chance.
Absolutely.
And that's why things like perfection come up for me. Because it's like, is it more important that it's perfect and everything looks amazing all the time? Or is it just that it's done? That the act of showing up, being humble.
And letting things just be as they are.
And
at face value.
The wave.
Riding the wave. I think that's the title, actually.
Riding the wave.
Riding the wave.
Riding the wave.
It's like enjoy the ride because I think oftentimes people just forget that path and the pathway just becomes like, oh, well, I'm using the map of what other people use and it's so rigid to the point where you kind of start forgetting who you are sometimes if you prioritize that, you know? So it's just like.
I think more parents need to give their children chances to be who they are.
Yeah, they're just trying to mold kids into almost like what they would have done. And like it's funny because every parent in their head and their mind are like, I have the best intentions. I have the most sincere intention to make this human being the best, but not all people's interpretations and ways of doing things aren't always the right thing to do, and they could be helping you and also harming you, you know. Absolutely. And that's what you carry from kids to adults. At the end of the day, we're all just mutated children. We're mutated grown versions of kids, and you know it's a bunch of experiences.
And we're trying to do the best that we can.
Exactly.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that.
I like to think everyone's the good guy in their story, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Can you imagine someone being a bad guy in their story?
Like, I'm going to be a real asshole today.
Yeah. That's like when you have GTA and you just start committing crimes because it's a video game. And
yeah. And why not?
Why not? It's a video game. You know,
Jinx,
or is it?
You owe me a cola.
Oh shit!
I can't believe I just did that.
It's all good.
I always do those things where I'm like, this is gonna be funny, and then sometimes it sticks.
It's funny
and
to
sometimes
me.
It doesn't.
I think it's funny.
I'm happy. So you owe me a cola.
Do I? Next time.
Next time. I don't drink it. I'm the ringleader.
I'm the wish master
And
on
I
this
follow the
recording,
rings.
if you will, master.
Ooh. Was that you being the precious guy from Lord of the Rings?
I was feeling more like a Igor type, but yeah, it's like the same type of being. Igor from like Dr. Frankenstein. Like, Master.
Oh, yeah. I need to see that. I need to see. You do have the facial expressions down.
It's kind of like the guy, like, I need sugar.
Oh, I know. See, now you do it, and I'm like, oh, like the sugar water guy. God, so
that guy looked
gross.
terrifying.
See,
as a kid, when I saw his face, I was like, that's a zombie. That's like
so gross.
It's a dead guy full of bugs.
But you know what's so cool is like that's an actor who has complete understanding of physicality and went so far out with it.
It was mostly him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like prosthetics.
He was doing makeup, but
he
it's
was
also
like doing
his
double
body
chins
is doing. Yeah, and the way that he broke up his speech patterning for that was really epic.
Gross.
And
it was
so
fucking gross.
It was so gross.
It's brilliantly
he had
gross.
to so sit in that grossness you to feel it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about acting.
You cannot be you for a time.
For a time being.
That's why I like doing character shit. I like being people that aren't me. Because I care. That's why I like...
I care.
Well, that's why I like acting and being characters and stuff, because it's not you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I care. When I was younger, of course, you don't have responsibility as a kid, but like I used to not care a lot. A whole lot of not caring.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about the other day, it's nice to have a drip of not caring, because as an adult, you go from a kid not caring about anything to overly caring about everything. And I'm not going to generalize and say everyone. I say me. I'm just going to speak for myself of just being like,
no, absolutely
meticulous
100%.
About everything and thought and all that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And trying to shake that. Just be like, all right, just have a good time.
Yeah, get out of your head.
Have a good old time.
Have a day old time.
Did you see the remake, the Flintstones remake of
from the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With John Goodman?
Yeah, I did. Actually, when I was working at this restaurant, I was the host, and this woman, Velma, came in. His wife.
Okay.
Was it Velma?
The redhead lady.
Yeah.
And she was
came
in Weeds, I think.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And then there are these two kids that walked in, and I was like, "Is that Velma from the Flintstones?" And this girl was like, "Yeah, that's actually my mom." And I was like, "Your mom is Velma from the Flintstones."
Dude.
This is LA.
That was such a good remake.
Of course.
I mean, it was just like, when...
Was it Rosie O'Donnell in that too?
Yeah, she was...
Wow.
The one in the blue? Barney Rubble's wife. I forgot her name.
She was the one in the blue. The blue and the black dots.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How dare I not remember her? It was Velma and... nope. I was going to say Daphne.
Velma and Louise.
I was going to say that. Wait, Daphne? Wait, Velma is from Scooby-Doo. Wilma. And then, then Velma's from Scooby-Doo.
That's
and
funny.
Daphne's from Scooby-Doo.
Oh,
and then the one in the blue from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a name, guys.
She doesn't get a name.
And that's what I get canceled for.
Yeah.
Like, no one even hears anything about the podcast.
No one watches this, and then you get canceled.
It gets sound bitten, and it's like, I never even got started yet. Yeah. I'm not here yet. I think there's something interesting about not being heard early on, because you get to experiment. Because can you imagine if a lot of people were looking at you early? So all you're growing, all you're growing as an artist, and all the things that you do try out. Like back in the day, entertainers and artists got to fail privately. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't forever and ever on the internet.
Exactly.
Haunting you.
So Picasso would make something, and then he'll throw the easel into the corner, or be like, okay,
no one hears
well.
about it ever again.
And then the modern artist is like, well, if
Let me put this on the gram.
Yeah. It's like everyone, and it will stay there. Because also as a comedian, you go and do stand up, and you go do an open mic, and you work it out, but you keep doing it, and also it dies in the room, or it's supposed to. The more you get, more people record stuff.
It's supposed to die in the room.
It's supposed to die in the room, and the comedians.
Your ego's in there as well.
Yeah, well, that, and then also the comedians back in the day, like the big ones, got to experiment and bomb and say offensive shit, and no one was recording it or blogging about it.
Yeah,
because that's the dojo. You know, that's like that's where you practice your karate. So you will say a couple of not so funny
things.
I mean, in comedy, it is mostly like a lot of unfunny things to just spout out.
Oh, totally.
Which one catches, right?
Yeah.
It's like doing anything. It's like playing a sport.
Yeah, because it's a muscle.
It's a muscle. You figure
like
it
there's
out.
a whole thing with stand-up comedians on just the microphone.
Yeah.
And holding the microphone.
It's fun to just hold
I'm
a
really
mic.
good at
Are you enjoying holding a microphone right now?
I am actually. It makes me feel special.
I almost feel like you're a VJ from like
Hi Ruby.
From MTV, like an MTV VJ.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to MTV.
Yeah,
MTV brought to you by Coca-Cola. Everyone just start up. So basically, Britney Spears is backstage. What?
Oh.
Let's get her on. Yes, everyone clap for Britney. Blah blah blah.
And don't you go nowhere.
Oh yeah, and then the camera goes.
Yeah.
Don't you go nowhere.
It's all wobbly. And we'll be.
Whoa, this is crazy.
But you know what? The 90s did have that feel to it, though.
It did. That was acceptable in the 90s.
It's like, have ramp hair. Remember when dudes had ramp hair? Like the frosted.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, yeah,
that was
Sugar
a real
Ray,
thing.
Dude.
Yeah, Sugar Ray. You should take this man seriously.
Yeah, Sugar Ray. Let's listen to this guy. Let's hear him out. I actually love Sugar Ray.
Sugar, how'd you get so fly? Sugar, how'd you get so fly?
That's Baby Bash.
So fly like I was stoned. So high like I was stoned.
I can't sing for shit. What would you consider yourself? Would you consider yourself like a feminist, or like, you know, there's two different versions?
I'd say I'm a human, firstly.
Right on. Respect.
Thanks.
No, actually, you're a Capricorn first. So get that right.
You got me.
You're from Los Angeles. Have some respect for yourself.
I know, it's in the stars.
You're a Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn. January 1st.
Cap first.
Cap
yeah,
first.
you're a New Year's baby.
Woman second.
Were you born with like
Human
a bow tie
third.
and a top hat, or no? No? Oh.
No, I had dead straight hair when I came out of the womb.
Desert straight hair?
Dead straight.
Oh, dead straight hair.
Like it was so straight it was dead.
Oh.
And then it got curly. I got a fro.
Yeah.
And then
I want to see your
right now
fro
I'm
in
all
human
straightened out.
form.
Oh yeah, next time I don't straighten it.
Next time.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Ruby, have you enjoyed this? Ruby,
Are you sure about
say
that,
something.
lady?
I'm giving
I
up
want
on
to hear
you.
her do a little snort.
It only happens when she's sleeping. Hope this is a strong mic.
That's how you just chop the mic and get out of here. I was like, can you wipe down that microphone?
Yeah, I'll spritz it with some hand sanitizer.
Man, I love this episode actually, and I wish I could just do this more because I actually there's a lot of cool goodies on here. This is a super dope phone. Oh,
ring, why don't you give me a call?
And then you got chloroformed.
I've got chlorophyll. I know. If you drink it, you pass out.
And you just like wake up at different times of the day. You're like, 2 days have passed.
Wait, this is a good one. Hey, Kelsey, I'm doing a podcast right now, and you're on it, just so you know.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Kelsey is my number one fan. She has pushed me through everything, and I love her to pieces.
Kelsey, you're a good friend.
Stop it. Just stop it.
It's important. I love you. You need to be recognized. I love you.
That's what the world's all about.
I was just returning your call from today. I'm sorry. I was on a hike.
No, it's great. I love that you're on a hike. I'll let you know. I'll call you in a little bit. because
sounds good.
I had
Good
great
luck
things
on
to
your
say.
podcast.
Yeah, we've been going for the last 3 hours, so I feel
3
like
hours.
we've got good stuff.
Oh, good. Well, you're a delight to talk to, so not
She really
surprised.
is.
Thanks, Kelsey. I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye. She's the best.
Did you hear the warmth in that voice? That was love.
Right? I really love her. I've known her
That
since I went
was
to
love.
USC.
Really?
And she saw me go through all of the traumatic stuff I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
And she encouraged me all through it. So she's seen it before Love Child was actually a thing. Like
Yeah.
she just saw me paint the shoes. And she was like, okay, you need support. Like you should paint shoes.
Yeah.
And now she's like giving me business advice on how to respond to emails.
That's amazing. And you need that.
Yeah, she's great. I have great friends. I love my friends.
Friends make the world go round.
Yeah.
Also,
They also get you high.
they do.
With a little help from your friends. If you don't know what song that's from, we can't be friends.
Go again.
I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh,
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
try. with
Maybe
a
we
little
won't be
help from
friends.
my
Is that from the Doors?
friends.
No.
No, it's the Beatles.
Oh, I'm not. See, we're really not going to be friends because guess what? I think the Beatles are overrated.
Fair enough. I like the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
You think they're overrated too?
No, I just don't really listen to them. I'm not opposed to them.
Fair enough.
I just don't.
That's not your thing. What's your thing?
What's my thing?
Yeah.
I like more of like funk and R&B of that kind of like that era, like 70s, 80s. Yeah, I like stuff with like a dirty bass, like some
Ooh.
funk, like Gap Band and Daz Band.
I'm
and
all
SOS.
about that bass, No
Definitely not that
trouble.
song. Definitely not that song. Hell no.
I know. It was a lot.
If America had a theme song, it'd be
It would
that
be
song.
that song.
It's like such a studio like industry made.
Oh,
song.
totally,
Like,
totally.
I don't think anyone's ever been like all about that bass. Like it's
That's a great song.
Like-
Well, maybe someone did.
I know. See, now we have to be respectful of being
Yeah,
like,
I know.
if you like it,
There's a Facebook group of people who love that song who are about to cancel us.
and, they're like, and what did it for you guys? It was the all about that bass group.
We know we've been disrespectful.
It's like we didn't know that they went that hard. They really do believe.
Yeah, they
what
love
they're
that song. And which goes back to your point about that being America's theme song.
Yeah.
You know, if we receive the backlash,
Well-
we're just shooting the shit right
Well,
now.
I'll do you one better. The number one show in the United States is Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Have
I heard
you
about
watched that show?
I have.
What do you think about it?
Never got anything more than a chuckle out of me.
It's the theme is like, hey, we're really smart. We like dinosaurs and math, and they're like, they're geniuses.
Yeah.
And it's
then,
like, yeah, like dinosaurs, and they're like, oh, that's how smart people act, like dorks.
yeah, if you want to be smart.
Yeah, talk
You have
about
to be like
dinosaurs
them.
and machines, and like, yeah, it's like, who's writing this shit? Are you serious? That's what you guys can think of?
Yeah, but that was a hit. Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's wrong with
Should
it?
we-
I don't want
should
to live
we
on this
end
earth
this?
anymore.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't want to. I was like, I don't want to play with you guys anymore.
Fair enough.
This is your guys' number one.
yeah.
Oh
That's
my
the number
god.
one.
So, all right, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Thank you so much. This is
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun.
And this is a long ass session, and it's a beautiful
Yeah.
session. And
It is.
please come on again. I'm gonna have your
Absolutely.
info. What about? I'm not gonna have you be like, oh, check me out. I'm just gonna have it all there.
Yeah.
You like that
Yeah.
better? Because I feel like
Because I want it to be organic. Like,
Yeah,
people
man.
vibed with this.
We're having
then
a
they
good
can hit me
time.
up.
We're having a
If they
good old
didn't, then-
a golden
Hit me
goose
up.
time. It's Worst Podcast.
Golden
Thomas
Goose
speaking. Thank you, Latoya, and later.